Attention passionate San Francisco 49ers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on San Francisco 49ers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true San Francisco 49ers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and San Francisco 49ers fans. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you're a 49ers diehard, you already know that the offseason is a crucial time for any team aiming for glory. And this year, the Niners are facing some pretty serious questions. The big story, the one that has the entire fanbase buzzing, revolves around their wide receiver core. It's a position that on paper looks a little thin, and trust me, this could be the kind of detail that makes or breaks their season. With injuries piling up and some potential suspensions hanging over the team, San Francisco needs to be proactive. Because let's be honest, you don't want to go into a season with a shaky receiving core, especially when the division is as competitive as the NFC West. Brandon Ayuk, the team's primary weapon when healthy, is currently recovering from that nagging knee injury. There's some optimism that he might be able to suit up for Week 1, but let's be real, you can't always count on that. Injuries are unpredictable, especially with a knee that's been bothering him since last season. So, while fans are excited about his potential, the team needs plans B and C. Ricky Pearsall, another promising young receiver, was dealing with a hamstring injury during OTAs. And we all know how those soft tissue injuries can linger or flare up unexpectedly. It's a concern, especially with the start of the season approaching fast. And then there's Demarcus Robinson, who might be in hot water. He's facing a suspension after pleading no contest to a DUI charge. That kind of off-field issue can really disrupt team chemistry and depth at a crucial position. And if that wasn't enough, Jauan Jennings, a player who's been a fan favorite and a reliable option over the past few seasons, apparently wants either a contract extension or a trade. It's a tricky situation because Jennings has been a key part of the offense, especially in certain packages and red zone situations, but the front office has to consider their long-term plans. This all paints a picture of a team that's somewhat vulnerable at wide receiver right now, and the truth is, the Niners were pretty quiet in free agency, at least in terms of adding proven wideouts. They seem to be more focused on other positions or simply saving money, which could come back to bite them if their current group isn't able to produce at the level needed. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Despite all these concerns, there's still time for the 49ers to make a move. The free agent market is still alive, and while the big-name receivers like Odell Beckham Jr. or Jarvis Landry might have signed elsewhere or are waiting for the right deal, there are some solid options that won't break the bank, guys who bring experience, familiarity, and could slot right into the system. Let's talk about some of these names that could be game changers for San Francisco, especially in the early weeks of the season. The first one that comes to mind is Jamison Crowder, a guy who's been around the league for quite some time. Known for his time with Washington, Crowder is a seasoned veteran with a knack for making tough catches and creating yards after the catch. Last season, he only managed 9 receptions for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns, which might not jump off the page, but his experience is invaluable. Crowder is the kind of player who can step in and provide reliable hands, especially if the team is dealing with injuries or in-game adjustments. His route running is sharp, and he's familiar with the West Coast offense, so integrating him into the Niners system wouldn't be a huge challenge. While he's not the same player he was at his peak, bringing Crowder in for the first few weeks could be a smart move, especially if the current receivers are sidelined or struggling with consistency. It's all about adding depth and ensuring that Brock Purdy or whoever is under center has dependable targets. Remember, last season, the Niners' offense was one of the most potent in the league, but injuries and inconsistent play at receiver threatened to derail their plans. Adding someone like Crowder, even if just temporarily, could be a stabilizing factor. Moving on, another name that might be available and worth considering is Allen Robinson. Now, Robinson is a player who's had some high highs in his career. Back when he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, he He made the Pro Bowl and posted some impressive numbers, including over 1,0 receiving yards in both 2019 and 2020. His time with the Bears was also notable, as he was a primary target and a red zone threat. But since then, his career has hit a bit of a rough patch. Last year with the Detroit Lions, he only caught 3 passes for 30 yards, which is quite a drop from his previous standards. That said, he's still young enough in his late 20s, and if he's motivated, he might have something left in the tank. The question is, can the 49ers bring him in, give him a chance to prove himself, and see if he still has that elite ability? It's a gamble, sure, but if he recaptures even a fraction of his former form, he could be a real difference maker in the offense. Plus, the Niners have a history of successful reclamation projects, and Robinson's size and route-running ability could complement the team's scheme nicely. And with George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and a solid running game led by Christian McCaffrey, adding another legitimate wide receiver could make the passing attack even more dangerous. Now, let's not forget about some familiar faces in free agency, players who have a connection to the team or the system. Jordan Matthews is one such player. Now listed as a tight end, but his last role as a wide receiver was back in 2021 with the Niners. Matthews has been around the league for a while, and while he's not a flashy player, his familiarity with the playbook and his cheap price tag make him an intriguing option. The last time he caught a pass was in 2019, but if the team just needs someone to fill in and provide some veteran presence, Matthews could be a low-cost, low-risk signing. He's a guy who understands the culture of the team, and sometimes that's worth more than just the stats. Of course, the Niners have a young core of receivers waiting in the wings. Players like Jacob Cowing, Tariq Owens, and Jordan Watkins are all talented prospects who could get their shot this season. The team has shown a willingness to develop young players, and this year might be no different. But if they feel the need for some veteran stability without spending too much, these free agent options I mentioned could be the perfect stopgap. Looking at the broader picture, the San Francisco 49ers are in a fascinating position. Their roster is stacked in many areas, especially on defense with Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and the rest of that elite unit. The offense, especially with a healthy Brock Purdy, looked unstoppable at times last season, making the Niners one of the most complete teams in the league. But that one weak link, the wide receiver group, could be their Achilles heel if not addressed properly. It's why the front office needs to be sharp during this final stretch of the offseason. They have the talent, the coaching, and the system to succeed, but depth at receiver is critical. The NFC West remains fiercely competitive, with teams like the Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals all vying for supremacy. The Seahawks especially have made big moves in the offseason, adding players and bolstering their roster. The Rams, despite their Super Bowl hangover, are still a threat with Stafford and Cooper Kupp when healthy. The Cardinals, while rebuilding, have some exciting young talent. So for the 49ers, the stakes are high, and the margin for error is slim. Every game counts, and the ability to adapt, especially at receiver, could be the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit. The team's recent history shows that they don't shy away from making smart, calculated moves. In 2021, they made a splash by acquiring players mid-season to bolster their roster, and in 2022, they were one of the most balanced teams in the league. Now, as they gear up for 2025, the focus remains on building a squad that's not just talented but also resilient. The front office and coaching staff have shown a willingness to adapt, to find diamonds in the rough, and to maximize their roster's potential. That's what makes this situation at wide receiver so intriguing. Will they sign a veteran free agent, or will they stick with what they have and develop their young talent? One thing is for sure, the fans are hungry for success. The San Francisco 49ers have a rich history of greatness, from their dynasty years in the 1980s to their recent Super Bowl appearances. The current roster, led by head coach Kyle Shanahan, is built to contend. Shanahan's offensive scheme is among the best in the league, and with guys like Brock Purdy under center, the team has a shot to do something special. But football is a team sport, and every position matters. That's why offseason moves, especially at wide receiver, could be the key to unlocking their full potential. As we look ahead to training camp and the preseason, the anticipation is building. Fans are eager to see how these young receivers develop, who the team might add, and how the chemistry is coming together. The NFC West race is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and the 49ers are right in the thick of it. Whether it's a veteran signing or one of the young guns stepping up, every piece of the puzzle counts. And let's not forget, this team has the talent, the coaching staff, and the drive to push for another Super Bowl appearance. All they need now is a little bit of luck, some strategic additions, and that relentless 49ers spirit that's been a hallmark of their franchise for decades. So, my friends, stay tuned because the offseason is far from over. The 49ers are always looking to improve, always searching for ways to get better, and they've shown time and again that they're not afraid to make bold moves. Whether it's signing that veteran receiver who can come in and make an immediate impact or trusting their young players to grow into stars, the next few weeks are going to be pivotal. And for us fans, it's an exciting time to be part of the 49ers family, because every move, every game, every moment counts in this quest for another Super Bowl ring. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest San Francisco 49ers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the 49ers are poised to surprise a lot of people this season. Their roster is deep, and their coaching staff is one of the best in the league at maximizing player potential. The question remains, will they find that missing piece at wide receiver? Maybe it's one of these guys I mentioned. Maybe it's a surprise signing nobody saw coming. Either way, the energy and optimism are palpable. The NFC West isn't just a division. It's a battleground where every inch, every play, and every decision can alter the course of the entire season. And with the 49ers, you know that they're always in the mix, always ready to fight for that ultimate goal, another Super Bowl victory. And now, San Francisco 49ers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest San Francisco 49ers news.